What's poppin', good people? Welcome back to another episode of reviews of things I don't really need. Today's video, I'm going to share with you which one of these smartwatches is my go-to. We have the Pixel 3 watch, the Apple 10 series, the smaller version. Don't judge me, I didn't want my watch to be that big. And then we have the Garmin 965. Now, I'm not gonna give you some crazy technical deep dive. If you want that, I'm sure there are plenty of videos out there on YouTube that can offer you that. But what I will give you is my honest review after having all of these devices for quite some time. All right, let's start with a little context. So for context, it took me a few tries to even get into the whole smartwatch ecosystem. And my first smartwatch was an Apple Watch. I should look that up. It was an Apple Watch, right? And it was like series 4. I don't know, maybe the first series, but I felt like the thing was so expensive and I couldn't justify myself spending that much money. So I remember purchasing it, trying it for a day, taking it back. And then a few months go by and I'm like, you know what, maybe I should try that again. Try it again and I take it back. It wasn't until I actually bought my wife one and saw her use cases that I started to realize, oh, okay, I could see what I could use this for. Let's start with why I want a watch in general. And this is why anyone should want a watch. You want a watch that can reliably tell time. That's it. I don't know if that's a surprise. If it is, surprise, surprise. But that's it. We just want a watch that can tell time. The second thing I don't want the battery to die. Those are like top tier, tier one. I'll get there. Tier 1 level things that I want from a watch, right? Tell time, and I don't want to have to change the battery or charge you often. And then third, in that top tier is I need it to give me notifications at a glance. I think one of the biggest appeals that separate a smartwatch from your traditional watch, aside from telling time, is the fact that you can sort of have this separation from your phone. So it doesn't always have to be with you, or you don't always have to pick it up. Here's the thing that sold me. You're in conversation with someone and you're talking like you and I right now, right? And then you get a buzz. And immediately you want to pick up your phone and say, oh, who was that? That's kind of rude because now I've put this device in front of you and I, which is rude. Whereas if it comes on the watch, you can, quick glance, although sometimes this can be viewed as you got somewhere to go because you're looking at the time. It's like, no, I'm just checking a message. So I don't know if it really solves that problem, but whatever. I like to have my notifications at a quick glance, right? Like if it comes in, then I know if I need to respond, a little personal triage. I know if I need to respond or keep doing whatever the activity is that I'm doing. So that's my top tier. A watch to tell time, notifications at a glance, and last longer than a day. My second tier is, can I take calls in a pinch? Can I control media? And then all the other smartwatch features that come with these devices here. So let's talk about price. The Apple Watch 10 series, I looked this up recently, GPS, somewhere around $320. The Pixel 3, this is the bigger version, the 45mm watch, $320 as well. And then the Garmin 965 is the most expensive out of all of them at $600. Essentially, you could get an Apple Watch and a Pixel 3 for the price of the Garmin 965. But there are other Garmins that fit some of the pros and cons that I like about this Garmin at a cheaper price point. I only bought the Garmin 965 because I get a work stipend in fitness and figured I'd splurge and it would inspire me to run. When was the last time I ran? Great question. All right, so let's talk about some pros and cons. Again, I'm keeping this very high level, very simple, pros and cons for me. So for the Apple Watch, one of the pros is Apple Maps being integrated with the watch. I really enjoy how if I am using Apple Maps, let's say I'm in a new city and I'm trying to figure out where I need to go, I can put my phone away, see the directions on the watch, and it'll give a slight little haptic response when I need to turn or it's a new change in direction. I think that's a really smooth feature. The Google Watch also does it as well, but I think Apple, as usually Apple does it in a more refined way, if you will. Another huge pro for the Apple Watch is that you can get accessories globally. I was just overseas, 3 different countries. This is not me bragging. 3 different countries, and I could not find a charger for my Google Watch. I left the charger at home and I was like, okay, I'll be able to find one. No, everywhere I went, yes, they had Apple products because Apple is universally accepted, but no one had the Google Watch accessories. Even if they had the Google Watch, they wouldn't sell the accessories separately. So I was SOL. All right, so that's the pros for the Apple. Yes, there are probably others, but those are my top 2. For the Garmin, the biggest love I have about this Garmin watch, look at that. Hold up. Even now, I think I put this on charge 3 weeks ago, and this bad boy is sitting at 63%. Did you hear that? I said 3 weeks ago, I took this off charge and it's still sitting at 63%. If you are looking for battery life in your watch, the Garmin is where it's at. But also, it fits some of my other top tier, right? It also gives you the ability to get notifications. You can't answer calls. You can do that on the Apple Watch, but it gives you notifications. It's great if you are into fitness because it has all of the bells and whistles into fitness. The GPS for running, for working out, and it has these cool like tactile buttons. There's a start, there's a stop. So you don't even have to use the actual screen. Actually, my preferred method for navigating on this watch is using the tactile buttons. There is no smart assistant, any of those bells and whistles, but it's a solid watch that gives you time, lasts longer than a day, and it gets you the notifications. My top 3, those are my top 3. And then last but not least is the Google Pixel 3 watch, the Google Watch. Now, I think this one gives me the best of both worlds. It has the whole a la carte of smart app features that fulfill my top tier and my second tier. And the battery usually gives me about 2-3 days before I have to charge. Then I throw it on charge at my desk here, and probably within 30 minutes, I'm topped back up. The Apple Watch, I don't care what version it is. I've not gotten the Ultra, but I have to charge this thing every single day. So if I forget to charge it the next day, SOL. And look at that. I mean, I like the roundness of it. It fulfills all of my needs. All right, so now let's get into the cons. Obviously, I just stated this, but the con with the Apple Watch, battery life is trash. It's trash. I think the biggest pro with the Apple Watch and with the Pixel is if you have an Apple device with the Apple Watch, it is a seamless integration into the ecosystem. Same thing with the Google Pixel. Or Pixel Watch. But the Garmin, agnostic. You can use this with either platform. It does what it does with either of the ecosystems. Another con with the Apple Watch is I've noticed that I miss notifications. I don't know if it's my settings. I've tried to configure it, but I don't get every notification. And sometimes I have to come back to my phone and then I'm like, oh, I missed that. Why have a smartwatch if you aren't going to give me the notifications that I need? Now with the Garmin, the biggest con is that it's not the smartest of smartwatches. It meets that baseline, C's to get degrees, right? So it's not gonna have the call or the assistant. There are ways that you can implement those things, and it depends on your device. I think you can get the Google Assistant if you're pairing it with an Android device, but it doesn't work with Siri, so on and so forth. And then again with the Pixel, the con there is just the limited accessories. So you're probably asking, which one of these watches is your daily driver? Well, it's the Pixel 3 watch. I recently left Apple, came over to the Google Pixel because I was highly disappointed in the AI promise from Apple. And so this is my way of rebelling against the man and coming over here. But I'm happy. I'm happy with this. I enjoy the battery life and all my smartwatch amenities, if you will. The Apple Watch, I'm actually going to give to my wife because she's an Apple Watch fan. She's an iPhone, Apple ecosystem fan, and it's small and delicate, so it'll look great on her. And then my Garmin, I actually think I should start wearing this more often, but I've just been so happy with what I get out of the Pixel. But the Garmin is really a solid watch. I mean, if you just want to not have to worry about battery life and get those notifications, get the Garmin watch. But again, it's a $600 watch. And this Pixel is probably going to get discounted because the 4 is going to come out very soon here. August 20th is when Google does their announcement. I'm looking forward to that. Thanks for tuning in. If you like my content, if you vibe with me, please subscribe, like, drop a comment. I just want to know that somebody's out there and I'm not just talking to myself.